Let's talk now to Gun-Free SA's Adele Kirsten for her reaction. Good afternoon, Ms. Kirsten. Well, you've seen the crime stats, you've heard about it. Firearms are 3 times likely to be the weapon of choice in all the reported murders, according to the Minister of Police today. In fact, 2,766 people were shot to death in April, May and June this year.
Dan, hello. That's a shocking number, and to put it into a different perspective, it means 30 people were shot and killed over these last 3 months every single day. And almost 50% of all our murders, at 43%, a gun is used. Imagine 2 taxi loads of people being crashed every single day. We would not be sitting on our hands. And it's time to really move swiftly to reduce the proliferation and circulation of these guns. And there are a number of things that I guess Gun-Free South Africa wants to suggest in terms of how best to move forward.
Yeah, we'll talk about those just now, Ms. Kirsten, but just back to what the minister was saying in their statement, that they also spoke about illegal firearms and the damage and the destruction that they cause. And they are saying these stats should be used as a management tool to guide their operational plans to deal with the proliferation of firearms. So what should they do?
There are a number of things, perhaps the 2 most important things, and to remind your viewers that all guns start their life off as a legal commodity, and that the guns that move then from the legal into the illegal market, those are the ones that are used in crime, but they were once legal guns. So a really important question for the police is, when you go to the crime scene where a gun was used, where is the gun? Has that gun been recovered? And the reason it's important to know that is because are we looking, are we talking about 2,500 guns that are used in each of these murders, or is the same gun being used to commit several murders? That's a really important question to be able to answer. So the task for SAPS is when you need to recover the gun, and once you've recovered the gun, you need to be asking the question, where does the gun come from? Where was it? Was it leaked out of SAPS stores? Is it through negligence of civilian owners? Is it because it was stolen from civilians or private security? Once the gun is recovered, the SAPS's task has to be to trace it from its origin.
I don't know if you've seen the reports, because I'm not joining 2 crimes together, but I'm just trying to paint a context here. You've got an increase in gender-based violence and femicide. And recently there were reports that more and more South African women are looking to guns as a way to protect themselves against this violence, this pandemic of a violence that they are facing. So if you're a gun owner, you should have the responsibility, of course, to look after the gun and keep it safely. I mean, how do you then address a woman who says, we're being killed every day, we're being raped every day, I need to protect myself, I need to get a gun?
I guess 2 responses. One is to acknowledge the fear that we as women live with, and that's obvious from the stats. But it's also a reminder that the place we are most unsafe is in our own homes. And the stats are overwhelming, that women are most at risk for being shot and killed in their own home by their intimate partner with a legal gun. Guns are not the solution. There is no evidence that guns keep you safe. In fact, the evidence points in the other direction, and particularly for women in intimate relationships, there are a risk that women will be shot and killed in their own home. The second response is 24 guns are lost and stolen every single day from civilian hands. So having a gun not only does it not keep you safe, but it ends up contributing to guns entering into the criminal market.
And many of the illegal firearms, Adele, I understand, have also been imported, like the AK-47, which has been used recently in a number of tavern shootings, particularly the one in Soweto a few weeks ago when 16 people were killed, and the gun-toting thugs fired more than 130 rounds of AK-47 bullets, which means there's more where that came from. So from an illegal firearm perspective, what's your view as Gun-Free South Africa? How can government the police do their work better to remove these guns from society?
Again, I think there are really two key interventions that are required. Is the kind of track and tracing. So that SAPS's responsibility is to remove illegal guns, to take them out of circulation. So that means most likely a specialist firearms unit. That's sole task is to track and trace guns once they've recovered it, to determine its source, and then to destroy. The other is that because most guns start their life off as a legal entity, you need to strengthen control over your legal stocks. And it's important to remember that an assault rifle, like the killings in the taverns, are usually used in organized crime operations, and those are most likely through cross-border trade. But the majority of our gun deaths, and if you look at the murder stats for this last quarter, they're handguns. That's our problem. That's where the intervention has to be. It has to be both. Illegal weapons need to be taken out of our streets, and our legal stocks need to be controlled.
Part of that control, would you suggest it would need to improve the licensing regime?
We currently have a firearms control amendment bill on the table. It's sitting with the Minister and the Civilian Secretariat of Police at the moment. And that bill, the clauses, the amendments significantly put limits on the type of gun you can own, the kinds of people who can own weapons, and the purpose for which you can own a weapon. So that's a very good place to start, is that you limit access to guns. And we would urge that given the recent, the stats today, that the Minister really bring this bill to Parliament as soon as possible.
Thank you very much, Adele Kirsten from Gun-Free SA. Shockingly, about 30 people being killed by handguns, literally every day in April, May and June of this year.